This is Rafi Guzon, and you are tuned in to Nothing But That Sports Talk.
But let's start off with what you know. What I'm gonna tell you the story. I actually got to go to Gersh Park earlier this week. Yes, Zach. I spoke to Naya Stevens. I told her, listen, I'm always gonna respect Dyckman and grateful for the opportunity she gave me, but I gotta root for Gersh because Gersh is my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happened later on that night?
Wow.
Dyckman in both the men's boys side and the girls side. Guess what?
Listen, absolutely, absolutely thunderous beatdown. Just the absolute annihilation of destruction, of carnage, anarchy, and just.
I know you were glad at Chris Tom instead of sitting down that beat down. Chris Tom kept that misery. Yeah, that was a little flashback of what we talked about. Dyckman getting smoked by Gersh Park last year, and a year late in the semifinals of the playoffs, and a year later they were destroyed down at Jurassic Park. As I welcome to this episode, Nothing But That Sports Talk with Feet Loose alongside Ryan Walker. Yeah, they got cooked big time. I mean, the beatdown was as bad as the beatdown they had last year when they lost by 35 points, but it was a beatdown. You saw it. You saw the kid Nigel James took over Jurassic Park.
That's my part. I don't gotta say nothing else. you watch enough. That's my people's. So I'm all right with that. I'm happy to see what they do. I told you weeks ago. I think I didn't even think I called it right on the money. I was in the park when I said it, and I see it clear at my eyes. That was the first time. I've only went to go see 3 NY Classics: Gersh, Dyckman, and Lincoln Park. I was not there at Tri-State, which is the first site. I was not there at Watson. I think that was the first 2 sites, right? Tri-State, Watson.
Yeah, it was.
Right. So I wasn't there at that, but I test, and with my eye test enough, I knew I liked what I seen with Lincoln Park and with Gersh, of course. Watson was a dark horse, but Watson always. I thought those 2 teams were a little bit better than them, even with Watson winning at Gersh. Remember, Gersh had a lead, and Gersh relinquished that lead. They didn't do a couple things strategic-wise, and they have a great coaching staff, so I'm not even pulling on them. Gary Irving, Nazareth, Smoke from South Shore. The whole bench is like basketball intelligence over there. So, but I just think that even for that game, Gersh was up. Let that game go away, which we can see in the NY Classic. You can have a lead and it can relinquish, or you can get tearing out the frame. That's how easy it can go. You know, NY Classic has no in between. It's either the games are really close because everybody's still feeling each other out, or a team has a big lead and then ends up coming back, or you're just not competitive enough that game or talent wise, and you just get creamed. And but I predicted when I seen all teams play, or most of them at the Gersh site, and I said I test where I said Lincoln Park and Gersh are going back to the championship. And my thing was that, but just looking at the roster, looking how the guys play together. I gotta tell you, Gersh, with their core and the Brooklyn kids and the coaches and staff, the fact that there's a nucleus that keeps around, they're always gonna have a good team in the Classic, on top of the girls' team as well, who's in the finals against the Uptown Challenge. But that core is key for them. With this Lincoln Park team, is loaded, and they're not gonna blow Gersh out. But I can promise you, 8 out of 10, Lincoln Park is gonna win the entire NY Classic. Their roster is better. If you want, I see you shaking your head. You're not a betting guy. We can talk about a nice betting wager off the air. But I promise you, if Lincoln Park plays to their potential, and it's not just Nigel James, there are a bunch of guys on that entire team
Yeah, there are a bunch of guys that can do. There are a bunch of guys that can do windmill dunks. I saw the highlights. That's ridiculous. They just. I mean, I don't know. I thought watching an NBA game, watching those highlights, like, and you was down there. You seen it.
Well, this is what I'm telling you. That with the other kid that caught the other windmill dunk, he's a top player. The center they have is from Lehigh. Preston Edmond is on that team. Preston didn't even play. Preston wasn't there that day. That Lincoln Park team, they hungry, they loaded, they're well coached. Gersh is gonna keep it good because they're just such a good program, and they got a good set of kids: Chris Jeffrey, Connor Spratley, Tristan Davis, Man, Anthony Isaac. The team is, I mean, it's Gersh, but I definitely knew that this was gonna be the final, and it's gonna be a great one at Rucker. I will be down there to see that one as well. And Lincoln Park did exactly what they did. They protected their home court. They advanced to the finals, and Gersh did what they had to do. And here goes the fact of the matter, because Dyckman hasn't had a good roster since they won the chip. The first 2 years, they had a good core of guys. The first year they lost a close game to Gersh, where they supposed to win and had their opportunities at the free throw line. They didn't take advantage of that. Second one in Rucker, Cole Anthony comes the last game, kind of messed up the chemistry. They were all trying to figure something out. Gersh had a really good team with Jaquan Carlos, who went to Thomas Jefferson, who's now at Hofstra, and many other kids. That Gersh team just had a really good core. They played so well all together. They ended up winning the second one. The third year, Dyckman had a good roster again with Deshaun Davis, Ramsey V, Malachi Smith-Molly, who's at Dayton. I think Deshaun is at Mississippi State. I'm not getting that incorrect. But Dyckman won the chip that year, and I also keep reminding people too, remember, Gersh, Femi missed 2 close free throws at the end. If Femi makes his free throws, Dyckman probably does not win that game. That's why, it's such a game of inches. But ever since that third year, I don't like the pieces that has been assembled for the Dyckman team. They're good players, but
but the chemistry. But as you explained before, the chemistry. It takes time for the chemistry to come together. But those kids, well, like you always said, those kids don't get to play together that often outside of New York versus New York. But
this is what I'm saying.
But New York is a big. But New York versus New York is a big attraction. I've talked to you about it. I talked to Kenny about it. I talked to Chiching about it. It's a big attraction. You got to bring your A game if you're going to win. And those kids down in Lincoln Park, they brought their A game. Watson brought their A game, but to a certain extent. But get back to Lincoln Park. Yeah, that was it was fast break city down there.
Oh yeah, and you could just tell from the start. Dyckman was trying to stay close to some things, but you could just tell from the start that the talent level was just different, and Dyckman is not loaded with a lot of bigs, and that's what really is going to hurt them against a team like Lincoln Park that defends and plays tough, and Gersh that plays tough and defends as well too. Yeah, the fact they don't have the physicality, they have too many guards.
Exactly. This kid, Kenny LZ, has 17 points.
Yep.
Nigel James, 24. Damn, he balled out.
Yeah, and think about this. The kid, Kanuzi that you're talking about, right? African kid, Nigerian kid. He's one of my guy African Ike, who's does a lot of work with Jersey and the DJs and stuff. Also with Crunch Time as well too. He's got all the kids. He's from the Patrick School. That dude is a monster. He's a monster. You hear me?
That good.
And he might be the best player, the best talent on the Lincoln Park team. And we talking about Nigel James here, young upcoming sophomore going to Lehigh, the other Lehigh, the Preston Edmond. That team is loaded. And that kid, go look him up on the gram. That kid is tough. I'm tough. He go to all them camps out of state. He kill all them out of state guys. They don't know what to do with him on the court. He got the mid range, can shoot the three. You see what kind of athlete he is. He can jump out the gym, run out the gym. He is going to be a big-time player one day for a collegiate program. Remember, I told you that. Tough. He's tough. The whole team is tough, and that's why I'm saying that it's not that Gersh can't win. Gersh can win. They
proved that last year when they beat Lincoln Park last year, but the only difference between Lincoln Park last year, they didn't have to worry about Nigel James.
And here goes the biggest thing about last year and this year with Lincoln Park. Gersh was the better team last year on paper. Not just winning wise. Gersh was the better team on paper. Not by leaps and bounds, but they were better. A lot of the Lincoln Park team guys that got put to last, there's no shot of them, were kind of older guys. Like they had the TJ Morris, they had the kid from Zaire Wells. They had a lot of guys from the ISA 2Gs rundown all together at Queens, Bloom, Lincoln Park. And they made a big run at it. They had a lot of good, savvy, good, older core on their team to get a push. But Gersh was better. Lincoln Park's team roster is better than Gersh's roster. That don't mean they're going to win. I'm just telling you that the talent, when you look at the roster, you're like, if all these kids show up and all these, man, this is going to be tough for them. And Lincoln Park is better than Watson. And Watson just beat Gersh. Now, that one matchup doesn't mean the next. And I just said that Gersh actually gave up a lead in that game. So, but Lincoln
you talking about the game when they were at Gersh, when Watson beat Gersh that game? Not the game yesterday.
I'm talking about, yes, in the regular season game, not the postseason game, of course, Gersh advanced. I'm talking about, we watched, did Watson beat Dyckman or did Watson beat Gersh? Watson beat Gersh.
Yeah, Watson beat Gersh, and then Watson beat I believe it was West Fourth.
Right. So Watson.
They've improved.
Correct. Lincoln Park is better on paper than Watson, to me. And today, Saturday, Lincoln Park will have to prove that. Because like I said, even though I have Lincoln Park winning, and even though you can have the better talent and the better roster, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win. Gersh is a championship program, championship savvy coaches, core kids. They smart. They play the right way. They defend. They play together. But if Lincoln Park plays to their potential, it'll be Queens get the money. This will be their time to win their first ever Lincoln Park, and they kind of deserve it. But like I said, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be very competitive at Rucker. It's going to be Brooklyn against Queens. That's always an interesting matchup. There'll be a lot of celebrities and guests in the building. So anybody going, I suggest they get there early or know somebody to get you a good seat, because it's going to be quite interesting, and both teams deserved it. The Gersh, the champions in it. The girls are in it too. God bless them. I think they might mess around and win it too. Uptown Challenge was going to give them a heck of a fight. But there you go, Gersh. Brooklyn doing it again in regards to the NY Classic. They advanced to another set of finals. Let's see if they can go 2-0 or 0-2 or 1-1 or whatever will happen. But they're there.
I'll say this: Gersh Park got lucky. You see that moment where the kid got fouled, a 3-point shot, and he missed all three? That was nerve-wracking.
And that's a big-time player that missed all three. That wasn't no scrub. That was a kid that.
And you missed all 3-pointers. You couldn't at least cut it to 1 foul, cut it to 2 foul. You couldn't do that. That was tough. You give it a chance to tie the game up on the free throw line. You're supposed to make all 3, or at least go 2 for 3. Foul. But then again, with the limited time left, you couldn't really do much if you don't make all 3. So yeah.
Gotta count your pennies at the free throw line, man. Gotta count your pennies. The easiest shot in the game, not the shortest. Shortest is a layup, without a doubt, but the easiest shot in the game is the free throw. It's you and the rim by yourself. No matter what the crowd is, no matter what they're saying, it's still you and the rim. And you gotta at the barest minimum go 1 for 3. But 2 for 3 is really, all 3 of them is what you want in the most ideal situation. But 2 out of 3 would have been at least something more comparable. And Gersh has to play. That's what I'm telling you, that Gersh has to play a little bit better than that in order to beat Lincoln Park. And they're ready. They are primed and ready.
Exactly. Gersh just barely survived Watson when they were breathing down their neck. down in Jurassic Park. So this is, you know what? So you know what? I'm torn because being the Brooklyn guy I am, I want Gersh to win the title. But Lincoln Park, that kid Nigel James, he's coming up. He's up and coming.
I'm coming.
I'm glad you educated me on this man because I just seen a lot of women. The fact that his ability to score at the fast break and pull off sick dunks like that, like you in the N1 mixtape tour or play in the same dunk contest. That kid's coming. Long Island Lutheran playing on the Queens. That kid's coming.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Nigel's a special kid. Great family, great foundation. Yeah, he's just a special player, special kid. And like you said, Lou High's got a good kid, and the kid Ike going to the Patrick School, and you know they just got Lincoln Park's got a good team, and like I said, Gersh still. Don't be surprised Gersh win it. This is the time too that Gersh will, or everybody's doubting us. They'll go out there and they'll win it. That's what they do. But I just know this is to me going to be their toughest challenge in the finals ever with this Lincoln Park roster here. Nigel James not missing those free throws. Ike not missing the kid. He not missing them free throws. You know what I'm saying the Preston, the top kid. So it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be a heck of a matchup, and it's going to be a great environment for Rucker. One weekend to the next, you just at the HBCU. Now this phenomenal event is coming up for the NY Classic, and the girls are going to have a great showcase as well too. There'll be a young kid showcase game as well too, and you know, you're blessed. I hope I'm not going into another caveat. You got Monday with Big Pro City, so that's a whole different plateau.
Yeah, exactly. And to finish up the conversation about New York versus New York down in Lincoln Park, we can't forget about the fact that Sabrina Ionescu and Druski and Jim Jones pulled up to Jurassic Park.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you mind seeing that moment?
I mean, you know what's crazy? I've seen Jim a billion times. You know, and messing with the guys that I know uptown, we been about him.
Yeah, and I've seen Jim Jones pulled up to LIU Brooklyn for a panel once, but was hosted by Tony Dofat. Shout out to him and I'm so grateful that I took your class to start this podcast. Yeah, I've seen Jim Jones in real life before. I mean, I got a photo with them. I'm going to share with you like literally later on. But yeah that's real nice.
Jim Jones, capo, and it was great to see Sabrina there. I've seen Sabrina actually play before in person.
Yeah, exactly. We've all seen Sabrina Ionescu play in person, but then again, we can't get past the fact that you pulled well, Jim Jones is kind of familiar with Queens, but we saw Druski probably, he's her fitness trainer. I get that. We understand that. But Sabrina Ionescu, I never expected Sabrina Ionescu to pull up to Jurassic Park the way she did. I never expected her to do that.
Yeah, that was big time. Lincoln Park always gets the
Only New York versus New York can pull off a rabbit out their hats.
Yeah. Remember, they've had Ben Simmons in that park, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and now Sabrina. So, you know, Lincoln Park always makes sure they bring the stars out. And like I said, this one at Rucker, being in Harlem, but a Brooklyn and Queens team in the Classic.
Just make sure you're smart with the public transportation, because I told you the transportation I went through over the phone when I went up there for the HBCU All-Star Dream Classic.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, and it's gonna be pretty cool too. That an Uptown team for the girls and a Brooklyn team for the ladies as well too in the final. So that's gonna bring a lot of energy and sass to the park.
I need to educate myself on the Uptown Challenge and how they managed to put New York versus New York. I mean, I couldn't be at the girls' Jumbotron because I was at the HBCU All-Star Dream Classic, but it's still nice.
You know, it's so great that I meant to say that too, that when you had Pro City this summer, that we made sure we lined up. But and I know you'll be at the Rose Classic once they start their other part of the Fall Winter League, even though they had a summer thing going too. You should have, if you would have had more time, all right, how you doing now? If you would have had more time or been able to do it sometimes, I should have been telling you to go uptown to the Uptown Challenge. So women's league, it's really honestly the best outside street women's league in New York.
You seen it before? You seen it, or you gained some wisdom on it?
Yeah, it's on 130th Street and Fifth Avenue, right? If you get off any stop and you're on Lenox, then the next avenue over is Fifth. And once you get to 130th Street, you can't miss it. It's a park. It's a big park. It's connected. It's right to the corner. Uptown Challenge has been there for years. The girls will tell you. Ask the high school girls. They know that's probably the most elite outdoor women's basketball summer league for high school girls. I'm saying middle school, high school girls. And right there on 130th and 5th, great basketball league, always elite girls and talent that come out there. So that's what Uptown Challenge put together for some of the best core up there from the league. Because you see, even look at it with the girls, the seeding name had to be so different because when the girls started, like they had the tri-state. Now the Uptown Challenge is like Tri-State, Dyckman, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Put together. Watson has a team, and of course Gersh. Who else was in there with Lincoln Park, West Fourth? Who was the other team that was in for the girls? Leaving somebody out. And I believe Tri-State probably still did have a team, but it's just good to have it that way. And Saturday will be good in the park. And look at that. Right after I went to Lincoln Park Tuesday, I went to Dyckman on Wednesday. Mano shows up, and the Mano ends up doing a video.
Man, Mano was always pulling up the street, but ain't nothing new.
It's regular, yeah, it's regular. And then the video shoot at the end of the Dyckman, like that was like, wow. By the time I got home, and we're going again today per se, being the Friday that we're on right now. So it's a busy weekend. And like I said, Monday Pro City, I will be there definitely for the final, guaranteed. Already got everything situated. So yeah, this is what New York City is about right now. This is what New York City sounds like.
Yes, it does. It doesn't matter what events taking place. The fact that it's being done at the Kahleah Park, it's insane. Yeah, what you're about to have your visit back to the Rucker after a week after I had my visit up to Rucker Park as well. I already told you this rough transportation that I found off the air, but what I can tell you is the girls' game was pretty intense. That young girl that won the MVP, I'm sure you saw the interview. I'm sure you saw my interview with her on IG. She managed to be. It was a very physical game. It was back and forth. The girls' game was a lot better than I expected. It wasn't up until like the last 2 minutes. That's when they started pulling away with last minute layups. And then I managed to ask her I managed to interview her and this other young girl that plays ball at Copper State University. At the Copper State University. And who happens to be good friends with this young lady named Abigail, who happens to be good friends and teammates with this lady named Abigail. She was telling me how good she was. She was there to support her teammate because she was playing the game, and she talked about how good it was to actually be honorably selected. All the players I've interviewed talked about how honorable selected. As you saw, I did like a little rapid fire, asking her which team was she bench, and then which WNBA player was she start, bench, and cut, which I'm about to get to ask you later in the show, but it's besides the point. Yeah, the overall HBCU experience, let's just say I got a little taste of what you went through when you attended HBCU games during your time as an HBCU college student. I've got a little taste of it when it came to New York, and when it came to the Rucker. And shout out to Rachel and the people from HR Culture and Daryl for putting together this phenomenal event. I wish you could have came, but you told me your reasons off the air. So being an HBCU graduate that you are, but don't worry about it. There's always another time. But
was that a Saturday?
Yeah, it was a Saturday.
I gotta remember what I was doing then, but continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But the men's side, it was kind of one-sided. But the fact of the matter is, and the fact of the matter is, the only positive for the yellow team getting smoked by the blue team about like 20 points was the fact that this kid named Yasmin Hooper, who plays ball at Miles College, he won the MVP for that game, and they got smoked. So I asked, well, I'm gonna have that interview published later on, but when you see the interview, you'll understand. But besides the point, it was a great experience. The girls were dancing, the good ballers, well put together, very good atmosphere.
No, it seemed very, very, I love that vibe, man. Like you said, it was HBC, it was very festive. I think last Saturday I got to work at 3, I think by the time if I even would have composed my, and then I don't want to sound so idiotic because we talked about it so many times and I knew of the event. I was doing so much that I didn't even recall that it was the Saturday. Like it had to be when you were putting out a lot of the footage and stuff, and I was like, oh crap. I was like, crap, Rafiq made it to Harlem. He was at the HBCU event, which he told me he was going, but it's we're doing so much. You was at Pro City. I think I went to Dyckman Friday. I think I went to go to work the next day. By the time I got at 3, so yeah, it was like I would have got there and had to jump in your afro. Excuse my French, pause. Pardon me. To probably, I mean, I would have got in. It would have been good, but I would have probably got there for the latter parts, and that would have been crappy for me to come and just see nothing. That'd hurt. You know what I mean? But
yeah, you would have gone one time to see a blowout lost by the yellow team.
What time did the game start?
The game started at 4:30.
And there was only one game for that, or was it 2?
The game started at 4:30. The event ended around like not too long before 9.
Oh, I could have made it then. I could, but it's just that it just didn't recall to me again. Like I said, I think I left from work. I'm trying to remember if I went to go watch something that day. I might have went to go view something. Maybe went to MTG or Lincoln Park. Was it Lincoln? I think, you know what? That's what it was. Yes. When I left work, I went to Lincoln Park because one of my guys was playing over there at Lincoln Park, and I was there for a little while. And then after that, that's when I went with the kids and my lady. Yes. So that's why I didn't go there after work. I went directly to catch my guy's game, and I barely did that. I caught a half of it and the rest of the other part of my guy's game, and I was like, I'm going home. I'm tired. It's been a long week. But your footage was phenomenal. The environment is phenomenal. HBCUs, man, I tell you this much, and that's, college basketball wise, because of Coach K, and I'm still there, mess with them.
Oh yeah, and spot side though, Kenny Anderson was the coach for one of the teams.
Yes, and but I tell you this, there's no college campuses, no matter what they can tell me, no matter what you want to call your genre of schools, no campuses have more fun than HBCUs when it comes to parties and when it comes to the sporting events. Our stepping teams, our drill teams, the fraternities, the sororities.
Then why can they sneak any more NCAA tournament teams?
That's a whole different other demographic that has, we know why. You know what I'm saying? Duke and North Carolina are going to attract more kids than Hampton is, for basketball. And then it's full scholarships, it's NIL deal, it's economics. There's a lot of other things into why that goes that way, which we know about. You know what I'm saying? And then even that is changing because the college basketball now, there are talent everywhere and kids are going everywhere. So it's not just everybody going to these big schools. They are now going to those schools, and that has changed a little bit slowly over time. So, Rome wasn't built overnight. We got to crawl before we walk with that one, but that narrative is changing. But in regards to the feeling and the environment, nothing is like that at HBCU. I experienced that full-fledged at Cheney. And I seen a different type of vibe and party. And the crazy thing is that our football team sucked. We were like School Days, the movie. We were that team that never won and would win, not even on homecoming, we would win. I think we had one semi-competitive year when I was there. And that year, we only still won like 4 games. Okay, we were always bad. I think even still to this day, we were bad. And the crazy thing is, there's talent on the team. There's just not an abundance for them to win. And the PSAC conference that Cheney University is in for football and basketball is very competitive. The PSAC is actually for football is one of the top football conferences, top 10 in the country for Division II. So the schools that they play, the Westchesters, the Cheltenhams, the Kutztowns. Lincoln used to be in that conference. Now Lincoln for sports has upgraded per se. You see where they're at now. And basically basketball was the only thing we were dogs at. The girls' team was struggling. The boys' team was always good. And let me tell you something. Our athletic director, the heat in the gym was always up. and the players had to practice and play through it, so the players got used to it. When the road teams used to come to our house, man, when I tell you 3,000-4,000 angry students in the crowd with all types of lines and gestures and signs, and the heat was up, and we had the music and the band playing, and we never, in my 4 years there, we never lost over 10 home games for the men's team. From visually that I seen, we never lost over 10 games. We were always beast at home, great environments, and even with the football team, even though they weren't great, the mornings, the pep rallies, the alumni on campus, the step, the drill team, the whole preparation before and after was like a big thing. Like Saturdays at my school when the football team was playing, like that was the only thing that was important. Like I'll tell you, like from 4 o'clock in the morning, people are tailgating and doing that. And the game would start at 1, end at 4. I was working with media, so by the time we shut the booth down and send the stats out and call the numbers, you know what time we were leaving. But I tell you, but the whole Saturday was for football. And then it was bad because they would always lose. So Saturday morning, when everybody's getting up after partied all out and you're getting breakfast on the cafeteria, that would be the whole conversation about how the football team was so bad. And then in 2 hours, we would all be glued to the TV screen because it's football season. So everybody was watching the NFL football games. So, you know, I'm glad you were part of that environment to get that feel, see what it feels like to be on campus. And God bless the ladies and the people for putting the program together for the HBCUs to have an opportunity to showcase what they do and to bring that environment to a place like Rucker Park. Like you can't get more culturally close to us and to the Mecca of basketball than that. So that was a great idea and kudos to them.
Exactly. My only regret for going to that is that it happened around the same time as the girls' jumbotron at Roosevelt Park. And the fact that the public transportation was egregious during that week, during that day, I told you the transportation had to take over the phone. That's my only regret for going. But outside of that, being there, it was very nice. You can nobody down in your time in college could come up with something like this. Mike Larry was there, of course, could come up with an HBCU event at a New York summer basketball circuit. Nobody came up with that but Rachel and Daryl.
Cool. That's cool. Do you speak to Mike Larry?
Yeah, I saw him. I said, "What up?"
Nice. You know, we had Mike Larry on here a few times on the platform, but that's pretty dope, man. Oh man, I always talk to you about that too. That travel, man. Boy, that travel at the end of the night, boy, you gotta take them, man. You be like, man, I'm not like Saturday for Rucker. My good friend, my best friend. If he wasn't driving, I wasn't going. I just don't have the brain capacity sometimes to want to deal with that, especially coming off of work and on a Saturday schedule. Like when I have to jump on the rail at first, then you have to get to the city, and then we're New Yorkers, but now we have to see the adjustments of what trains is running, what service is different, who's doing construction, I don't be having the energy with that no more. Like tomorrow I'm about to do that. I'll go after work. That's not a big deal though, because I always have to go to Queens anyway, towards my league, but I'll go uptown to Dyckman. I'll probably ride back with my guy, and then I'll come back up to Strong Island or Brooklyn and jump on the rail or whatever. But, you know, sometimes you just don't want to deal with it. And I bet transportation probably was such a headache, and you stayed all the way through. So God bless you. God was safe. You did everything you had to do.
I mean, I'm lucky I'm used to public transportation. That's why I'm lucky I'm used to public transportation. I mean, sure, I'm not going to say what public transportation I took over here, but what I can't tell you is ridiculous. Well, I can't tell you how I ended my travel. I mean, when I was up there, I met this young lady named Jocelyn, who's currently a student at Hampton University. She started her own media brand called Blueprint Media. Yeah, shout out to her for starting that. I saw her interview. She did a great job with the content about the HBCU All-Star Junior Classic. She has 2 years up in college until she graduates. Good luck on her last 2 years of college. I hope you have a phenomenal last 2 years at the HBCU. I gave her good advice. She asked for good journalism advice. I gave it to her. Her mother was very nice. I decided to travel with them. And I already told you the type of traveling I had to take when we were going home They took an Uber to get to the city, to get to Times Square before they pulled up to Rucker. I don't want to say too much of the business on the air, but say where they're coming from in Long Island. But I'm gonna keep that on the down low. I already told you where she's from when she's not going to college. But it's besides the points. Yeah, that travel was just ridiculous. That's why. Yeah, I'm just gonna watch it for the NBA app. I'm sorry.
100%.
Okay. Now we get to Nike Pro Say this week, where it starts up with the international grind. They pull up an upset win over R2K, but they end up losing in the late seconds to I Can't Feel My Face, or should I say, they literally couldn't feel their face because when they were down 2, all they had to do is one of the players had to do was get a shot off, and he couldn't even get a shot off. John James made the free throws, and it was a wrap from there.
Yeah, and this
then you get to the final. Then you get to the second semifinal. Then you get to where it's Hoopsville taking out BK Stompers. The Purge, aka also known as AJ English, took over, buried about 5 3-pointers in the second half. Even when BK Stompers got within 2, they pulled away, went up by as many as 8, and it was a wrap from there. So it'll be Hoopsville versus I Can't Feel My Face. So what are your thoughts on everything I just said?
Oh man, it's thank God, great summer for you to be at that Pro City. One more big Monday, Super Monday. I think first of all,
AJ English had 43 points. AJ English had 43 points, 5 assists. Talk about a ridiculous performance.
Another day in the office for him. That's 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 70 is always in capacity for him. Anytime he's in the gym, it seems to be, like I said, shout out to International Grind, big upset win. They changed a lot of the brackets. We spoke about what happened to Life, so Life no longer was there, and Hoopsville and R2K.
You said you're gonna get a little bit more about why Life got pulled out of the tournament, but we'll get to that. Let's get to talk to the game first before we get to that story.
Actually, I'm not even going to disclose that information or talk about anything with that because that's not even in my capacity to even speak about that one. Like I know, but we spoke, and that's where that one will go. Yeah. Whoever's inside,
we'll get more about that off the air. But yeah,
right. Whoever knows, the smart, the people that are in the basketball world know what happened, right? And it's nothing that it's not our platform to discuss. And the other teams are still in there for now with the Final Four now to the championship. I Can't Feel My Face played phenomenal all season. They really have. They won most of their games.
They've only lost one game so far.
One game, yeah. They had a buzzer beater, John James. They had a buzzer beater, Tariq Phillips. They've kept a good core together, a good core. Wani, Ja, Chopper played a game.
Isaiah Whitehead chipped in, former NBA player.
They got a nice team and a nice thing. My boy, Mr. Parks played 2 games. He was definitely a big impact with them. So I think they're going to mess around and win it. I think, what used to be Skull Gang, and now I Can't Feel My Face, they've been in Pro City for a little while. This might be their time to win it. And I know.
But can they slow down AJ English? That's the one thing you need to worry about. That kid's a monster. He wants 71 points in the game.
No, you're not going to stop him. So your best bet is to put your best defender on him. Maybe like a Wani. I don't know if Chopper's coming to play that game. Chopper's an incredible defender too, but he'll probably go back to school. They're going to have to put that one guy on him and just say, bro, don't be mad if he have 40, 50. Just stay in front of him and pray. Because he's going to that's a professional scorer. If he doesn't have a good game, that's because he's just shooting bad. You can't with the greatest defense, this guy is such a prolific scorer that he can wake up out of bed, roll over, and score 25. He's just that offensively gifted. So that's what they have to pay attention for. And he's not the only player on that team. So they have other things that they need to focus on as well for that team. And they also got
Shane playing again. They also got this kid on Family who had 17 points. They had to deal with this guy on Shane Gatling.
That's my man. That's what I'm about to say. Isn't Shane playing on that team? He's from Long Island. Shane's from Baldwin. You know what I mean? And he went to Colorado University. That's my man. Overseas, just came from overseas. He'll be going back soon. Shane is tough. Shoots a three, mid-range, can lock up, go upstairs. Shane is tough, so that's all I want to say. They have more than just one guy that they have to. You know what? This is going to be a heck of a fun. I'm definitely not missing Monday. Monday is going to be crazy. I know guys on both sides, so it's going to be very, very wow, like 50-50 for me, and it's going to be a heck of a finals, and it's going to be a great pro city. What a heck of a summer to enjoy there, and we got to get you an Uptown Challenge next year a little bit more. But no, Pro City on Monday is going to be a huge, huge matchup.
Yeah, very huge indeed. Look out! Right back at LIU Brooklyn for the final time this summer.
That's right, in Sharks country.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be crazy on Monday. I'm really thinking of the rosters going in my head. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. What time is that game? Like 7:30, 8?
I believe it's 6 o'clock, 6:30, but yeah. Well, 6 o'clock, they're going to do like a little Knicks clinic, but after that.
Right, exactly. The big game's not going to come on for like 7:30, 8.
Obviously, they're going to do like a little Knicks clinic. I mean, I did hear Pope saying that. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's a primetime game. I know Pro City, when it's chip vibes, they always usually start the game 8 o'clock, 8:30. Because, it's prime. It's only one week. So, like you said, they'll probably do that clinic, get everything in, do that, and then take their time. The guys are not going to rush to the championship vibe. They're going to get the gym ready, get everything ready. And like I said, by 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:30, it'll be showtime. We'll all be leaving Brooklyn around 11 o'clock.
Trust me.
Yeah, we all will. 10:30, 11 minimum.
Yeah, from experience, Ryan. You know Pro City so a lot better than I do. So yeah.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, thank God. My boy Jay Red is going that day too. At least. Yeah, he's going. So at least going back, I could just take the ride with him to Brooklyn and jump on the train and go back to Queens. That'll be 1, 2, 3. Thank God.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of the New York Knicks, they just announced some games for the upcoming 2023-24 schedule. They just announced Christmas Day games, and one of the games on the docket, the Knicks will host the Milwaukee Bucks on Christmas Day next year. That's part of my. That's just to kick off my. That's to kick off my sports talk, quick talk segment. So
yeah.
My
boy is already looking for tickets.
Yeah, I don't know about putting them against the Milwaukee Bucks. I know Knicks did go further than the Milwaukee Bucks this year, but yeah, the Bucks are still better team than the Knicks. So we're gonna get derailed. That's all I gotta say about that. Thoughts?
That's an economical thing. Christmas Day, you got to make sure you sell tickets for all the 5 games they're going to have on TV. Knicks are a little bit better. They'll be competitive. I expect the Bucks to win in the Garden, but, who knows? The Knicks actually played very well against the Bucks last year, but, just the Knicks, I don't even want to think. I don't even want to start getting my, I told my guy, he's looking for tickets already. Anyway, the games, we're probably going to go Knicks-Nets. We're going to go Knicks-Nets again at Barclays. So he's already lining that up. We're going to take care of that actually in a couple seconds when I go back there with him. But I told him after that, I said, don't call me after that until the first month of the season and we see how the Knicks look. Because I'm not hitting no registers for no tickets unless I like what I see. Knicks-Nets is a guarantee. Like, we're going to that regardless. But that season's coming up soon, and Even before that, there's nothing to talk about with New York baseball. Both teams are absolutely egregious. They stink, and they should all.
Yeah, the Yankees lost 2 out of 3 against the White Sox. That's all I gotta say.
They stink. and the Mets stink. They both stink. They suck. They stink. The Mets have the highest payroll in the history of life, and they're absolutely terrible product to put on the field. And we should absolutely be ashamed of ourselves, the Yankees. They are absolutely terrible. Now they're talking about all questions with Aaron Boone firing. Really? I said that 2 years ago. This team is terrible. They're getting old. They can't do. Luis Servino doesn't know who the heck he is. He can't pitch a beach ball, for crying out loud. Donaldson gets on my nerves. Giancarlo is the most extravagant, expensivest DH hitter in the history of life. And it's bad. It's bad. I'm glad they're falling the way they should fall. They don't even need to deserve to even try to qualify for a wild card. They're like 6-7 games even behind certain teams.
They're 5 games out, actually. 5 games out.
5 games out. That's 2 series. Even if they find a way to get to the postseason, they will beat nobody in the American League. The team is not good enough. So both teams are terrible. They should be ashamed of themselves. Thank God that New York hockey is coming back. And thank God for New York football to give some kind of pulse to New York, because baseball has been absolutely egregious.
And thank God to New York Liberty, as we transition to that they clinched the playoff spot. They had 4 days off and they clinched the playoff spot. Was I even surprised? And it happened because the Minnesota Lynx got decimated in Indiana and Atlanta Dream. They couldn't even protect a 13-point lead against the Seattle Storm, one of the worst teams in the WNBA. They let the Seattle Storm go on about like a 21-5 run, which is capped off by Drew Lloyd's go-ahead 3-point play. And Ryan Howard went out of bounds due to good defense, and that sealed the deal. And the reason why I bring this up, because that's the reason why the New York Liberty have clinched the playoff spot. They need they need the Dream and the Lynx to lose, so the Liberty can just sit pretty and wait for the postseason, or they can try to surpass the Aces for the top spot in the WNBA, and especially with and beat them in the Commissioners Cup. So, yeah. Thoughts?
On
top of that, they blasted the Aces 99-61 in the ball of Brooklyn last Sunday.
Well, first things first, I was gonna say, and if you want, let me know, because I can put it on my card if anything and do it from there. But September 1st, I'm going to the game. They're doing a West Indian night there. I believe that's a Friday. No, that's a Saturday, because the 2nd is Real Skills, my guy doing it, being in Queens, and the 3rd is Labor Day. So the 1st, that's Saturday, they're having West Indian night there. I am going.
For Liberty?
You don't have to. Yes. We can get, remember I told you, I always find super affordable seats. So I can get seats for like literally $25. So I'm strongly considered about going that day. Like if we could be in the building and catch the Liberty for that game, that'd be pretty dope. But we'll talk about that at another moment as well too. But I want to get so high on my hopes. I picked the Liberty to go to the finals this year. That is still my pick. I picked Vegas to beat them. You know how much I respect Vegas.
I respect Vegas too.
They're down Candace Parker, which will be back soon. They're down another player that did one of the ladies have a domestic issue?
Yeah, Raquan Williams. I think you said last week, and you said that you want to touch upon that. Remember?
Yeah, we're not gonna touch that one, and she's out for a while. So Candace will be back, but Candace they're taking their time with that one. But based off what I seen the other day, the Liberty are starting to knock on that door to say, Vegas, we're probably just as good as you, if not better. The Commissioner's Cup in 2.5 weeks is going to be huge. If the Liberty can come out and win that Commissioner's Cup, not only would it be great for the organization's confidence, and it'd be that second time to say, listen, we played Vegas 3 times. They beat our butts very good early in the year when they were fully staffed. in their house when they were steamrolling everybody. We beat their butts pretty good last week. If they can get the Commissioner's Cup, whatever the score may be, I think that put them in a different plateau. And then now they're saying, you know what? We're going to shoot for this East. No disrespect to Washington, no disrespect to Connecticut and the Atlanta Dream. I mean, we know those teams are really good, but the Liberty is the best team in the Eastern Conference, without a shadow of a doubt, and or whatever we want to consider the genre of whatever they call the Eastern Conference for the WNBA game. But the Vegas, of course, are the best on the other side. Dallas is a very good team, but I think that's going to be the finals, and I really think now that the Liberty are gaining that confidence that they can beat this Vegas team. And if they're not fully staffed and we can get days like that where Asia Wilson shoots like that, then we'll always have a great chance. I was scared too. I was happy Courtney Gray didn't have a great game. I'm very afraid of her. When she's on her, she's scary. Liberty played very intense and very driven that game, and it was a joy to watch. They were really good. Sabrina made like every three. Blaney was tough. Bree was good. And remember, Dolson is going to be back soon. Zhu will be back. The Liberty team is good. Johansson's playing at a high level. Vandersloot is playing at a high level. They got girls all over, just playing so well right now on the team. Rondello's finally getting everything together. They got a chance to win it all, big guy. And we're going to see how that goes for the rest of the season. They're, from all the New York teams, they have the best chance of winning anything.
Exactly. They have the best chance to make it to the finals at minimum.
Minimum without a doubt.
Without question. It's going to be amazing because this is literally the best New York team that we ever seen. That the best New York Liberty team that you've seen since Teresa Witherspoon days at the beginning of the WNBA. This has potential. And I just had that feeling they could get it done this year.
Yeah, I feel it. I have it too. That's what I'm saying. If they win it all, and this is how good, high on them, and the teams, and you talking about, I mean, Sophia Witherspoon, Teresa Witherspoon, Sue Wicks, Rebecca Lobo, Kim Hampton, Vicki Johnson. I mean, that team's loaded. If it's not Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoops and Kim Perrott, rest in peace her soul, and Tina Thompson, the Liberty win all those championships then. I promise you that. That was nobody could stop the Liberty. It was just Houston. That was it. That was our Achilles heel. But those teams are so talented. But I want this team to do well in the finals or win it, because I want to say that without a shadow of a doubt, this is the best Liberty team ever in the history of New York Liberty. If both teams can play in their prime, I'm taking this Liberty team. And Teresa Witherspoon and them girls were good. So for me to say that, but this team, they tough, man.
Exactly. Exactly. Even better than those conference finals teams in 07-08 where they got taken up by Detroit Shock. Or the conference finals team that lost to the Atlanta Dream in 2010, which was carried by Cappy Pondexter. You remember Cappy Pondexter? Won 2 championships with Diana Taurasi?
Yeah, Cappy.
And do we say anything about the Tina Charles teams? Come on now.
If you ain't talking the 98, 99 early teams, no team on paper is better than this team here. You notice I didn't even mention those girls, those teams, and they were good, but they can't do nothing. The 90s teams that we mentioned with those girls that we just named on the roster, and this team now is the best talent teams we've ever seen in the Liberty history in their life. The other teams, they can't even compare to this team. Not even close.
Exactly. And you know what? If the Liberty do lose, make it to the finals and lose, they're easily compared to the Teresa Witherspoon days. They're easily compared to that. But if they get the job done, forget it.
Forget about it.
It's like what I told Aliyah. I don't expect any egregiousness from this New York Liberty team compared to recent years. Unlike the damn New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets.
Exactly. And even all their losses, like, look at it. They just started off silly hot. You lose to Washington. Washington's a good team. You get smoked early in the year by Vegas. Vegas is the champs. You ran into a buzzsaw night at Atlanta Dream where we know nobody can never take the Atlanta Dream lightly. They come to play, right?
Don't forget the loss to the Chicago Sky, who they play later today.
They lost the game to the Chicago Sky, who they should have not lost that game.
And trust me, I was there. It was kind of pitiful the way they went out like that.
Correct. I think they'll get a redemption song tomorrow or today per se if you're saying they play them. And the Liberty are phenomenal on the road. What is that? One road loss?
They've had 2 road losses. Both of them come against Washington and Las Vegas. I almost said Atlanta, but whatever. They beat up everybody else on the road.
And those are 2 earlier losses.
So exactly. They got the best road record in the WNBA after they smoked the Aces.
Good things is coming, man. Good things is coming for this team.
Yeah. Good things coming indeed. And to continue the WNBA conversation, early this week there were a couple player reactions to stupid questions, and one of them literally came from me. And I spoke to you about this off the air. There was a question that I've asked Angel Wilson. She kind of wasn't really much of a fan of that. I'm gonna let you listen. Accountability. You were held to a career low 9 points in the loss. Like, what can you tell yourself as far as holding yourself accountable for the lack of scoring contribution in what is only the team's 3rd loss of the season?
Okay. At the end of the day, I'm gonna always shoot. I don't care. I'm gonna always shoot the basketball because my teammates need that from me. Do I live with this? Of course I'm gonna live with this. I didn't have it. But when it comes to me career low or whatever my numbers are looking like, I really don't. I could care less about that because that's not going to shatter my confidence to continue to shoot that basketball. The Aces drafted me in 2018 to shoot that basketball, and I'm going to continue to do that because that's just who I am. And I don't need, this doesn't validate me in this league at all. So I'm not going to harp on this at all. Thanks, Molly. Appreciate it. Now you knew I was going to. I need a stat sheet to validate who I am in this league.
Yeah, it's like with this production, you have a lot of it in this game here. Talk about what they need to do going forward.
You know what?
The bench. Not score a lot in this game here, people a lot of production. What do you have to do next in the next few games to help you guys most likely get to the next level?
What does the bench have to do?
Yes.
What did you?
I was saying that the bench can give a lot of production today in this game here. What do you got to do to help you all out as what they did in the previous one?
What they got to do? What they do last game? That's a real question. You for real?
No, what I'm asking is just really try to get an idea of what they need to do.
So what did bench do the last game?
That's pretty well.
Yeah, so what they do the game?
So they didn't do well this
Okay, so what they got to do? Score, right? All right, then. That's it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, apparently players get the wrong message when being asked questions in the press conference. And I spoke to you about my question with Angel Wilson earlier this week off the air. And some people that retweeted, they kind of disrespected and got backlash for that. And to be fair though, I work on my paraphrase. Chris Williamson, Tarika, and Miles, if you listen to this, I work on my paraphrasing skills when I ask the player questions and the way I go about talking about their low performances, just to be a little bit nicer about this. Not too nice, but not too disrespectful either. I'll work on that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on those players' reactions that I shared you, along with Kahleah Copper? Just a side note, that reaction for Kahleah Copper came after the bench only combined for 12 points in Chicago Sky's loss to the Minnesota Lynx earlier this week.
Well, that Kahleah Copper question, that's not you asking them that question, right?
No, it's somebody else.
Okay, that's why I said no. I was making sure I had the voice, so I was like, okay, making sure. Okay, from this is from my perspective, so I don't want this to go the wrong way. From my perspective, your question towards Angel Wilson, it doesn't, to me, I'm communication major. I'm listening to voice tone, I'm listening to vernacular and speech and so on and so forth. Your question doesn't seem like she was annoyed at you. Your question seems like she was answering it as a player should answer it. A great player or a great scorer or a great player in general, a leader and a champion like she is, as important as her role is, she's not worried about shot percentage. She knows that she's going to have more great nights and good nights than bad nights. That was just to happen. You don't usually catch an Asia Wilson performance like that. The Liberty were also extra fortunate. I told you, like I said, I want to see them play against the Aces when the Aces are playing at their highest level too, to see how the Liberty takes those punches and battle back. If they can win from a game like that, we got a great thing going on here. But Asia didn't play well, and neither did Courtney didn't play well. We defended too, so we had a lot to do with that. But they didn't, especially Asia, she didn't shoot the ball well. But a leader like her, that's like LeBron shooting 10 for 30 and them saying, LeBron, how is that going to change your confidence for the next day? He's like, what? I've been doing this for 20 years. I got 3,000 points. Asia's not going to say nothing to those drums, but this is an NBA champion here and a leader. Vegas is not as great. Gray is great
WNBA champion. You missed it earlier.
Say it again?
You meant to say WNBA champion.
This is a WNBA champion. And they don't win. That franchise doesn't win the finals without her. She's a cornerstone and a franchise piece there. So I don't think she was upset or frustrated towards you. I think that she probably was frustrated with her performance and how they played that night. But that's not, she answered it exactly like how she should answer. Like, I don't care if I shoot 2 for 19. We didn't win and we don't play well. I'm not, that's, if you think that Asia Wilson's confidence is shot for that, bro, we don't know who the heck Asia Wilson is. Because trust me, that ain't going to take her confidence away. She'll be fine. The Vegas will win their next couple of games. Now that other question with that other gentleman, yeah, he probably,
before we get to that, Asia Wilson, before we get to that question, Asia Wilson did bounce back at 28 points and 14 rebounds in the win against the Dallas Wings, and that game was all literally before it got started. The way the Aces started, when they were knocking down shots on the perimeter and the inside, and Asia Wilson was more aggressive, scoring on the inside, hitting in 3-point plays against the Dallas Wings. I was like, yeah, the Aces, they knew what they understood the assignments. So yeah.
And then we didn't even have Dolson or Zhu. Or remember, in general, the Liberty have bigs to throw at Asia. Bree will guard her. When Dolson comes back, Zhu, we got bigs to throw and give her different looks. So like I said, there were things that we did, even though those other two didn't play. Dolson's coming back from injury soon. But we threw different bodies at her on top of Bree doing a good job and her shooting bad to make it difficult for her. We have the personnel we could throw John L. Jones on her all the time, which we did, to give her a different look. Like you said, 28 points the next game. What a difference that they makes. And but the other one, yeah, I think that's what I love about Kahleah too. It could be a good and a bad. I love. She's so fiery. She's so fiery and feisty and competitive. That girl, and she was fortunate enough too to play be around Candace with all that time in the championship vibe. When Candace is a consummate winner and fiery too, and she's taken all that with her, and that's why I always think that Kahleah is a top player in the league. But yeah, he riled her up a little bit, and she answered it just like you asking me a dumb question, but not a dumb question, because there's no dumb questions, but there is a dumb question. It's like, well, what's the best? Yeah, well, if they had 12 points and we lost, don't they need to score more than 12? What else do you want me to say to you? We play like crap our bench tonight. And you don't want to pinpoint and show nobody else. She's a leader on that team, so she can do that per se. But it's just like, well, duh, you said it. If they scored 21 points the day before at the bench, and they won. And they shot terrible today and only have 12 points. Then what do you asking me what do I think they should do? You tell me what you think they should do.
Kahleah confidence.
So you man, doing this game of media, whether we do it for kicks or not, when I know I'm gonna ask deep and intense questions, and you see me do something the other day with Nigel, and that's a more simpler format per se, When I know I'm going to ask intense questions, let me tell you something. I've already thought about it in depth. I wrote it out 12 different times. I practice how I'm going to say it, because here's the biggest thing about asking intense questions. Don't want to compare it. They don't want to, but it's like knowing that the police just stopped you, or you in court and you got to tell a lie, or you got to tell whatever your story is. It better be distinct. So when you're asking an intense question, not just you, but just as in general, for anybody of our viewers, you got to know what you're going to say completely before you say it. You got to have it down so that when you say the question, there's no blinking, no stuttering. You're getting this question straight out. You're giving it to them clear and concise so they can hear it. Boom, boom, boom. This is what it is. Why did you put it back? Boom. And sit and wait for their answer. Because as they can start to think about it and more and analyze it more, and here's another thing that we're not giving sometimes credit towards the athletes. A lot of them are really intelligent and savvy and know what you're trying to swim for with certain questions. And even if you're not that type of guy, if you say it straight up and distinct and strong, they got to respect it and answer it even if they get upset. Stephen A is good with that. If he's going to ask an intense one, he makes sure he knows exactly what he's going to say, look in your eye and say straightforward. But if you befuddle a little bit, and then you throw a question out there that's like, it's not stupid, but you got to word it right. I would have found a better way I would have said something to Kahleah like, listen, Kahleah, the bench didn't play well. We know your bench is very integral towards your success. Both teams are there. How important is the bench towards your success, and what do you have to do as a leader and to help motivate them or to do more to get a victory? Because just because you don't score a lot of points as a bench doesn't mean that you can't do other things to get better. Rebound, defense. So now you got to find a way to not code the question where you're just pinpointing on the offense to say, hey, what do they need to do better? And what can you do as a leader of this team to get more out of your bench and even more from yourself? Boom. And let her go and flip with it for that. So, everything happens for a reason. But yeah, she was pretty pissed off with that question. That's a dumb question, bro. I'm pretty sure a great mind in sports, but yeah, don't do that with Kahleah. She feisty. That's not gonna work. That question ain't gonna work, bro.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You're going to ask her about how tough it was to face A'ja Wilson after she blocked you 6 times. She was all she said was good. So
yeah, amazing. Next, so well, we got to deal with that, and this is the media world. Sometimes you make them happy, and sometimes you don't. But you still gotta be strong on what you believe in, be firm with it, and then when wrong, or if calling out something, you just have to know how to just be humble with it and take it the right way, or explain it. Listen, you come on here, hey, Dyckman got their ass kicked. Pardon my French. That's not a profanity, but they got their butt kicked, and it is what it is. That there's times we come on here. The Giants, I predicted the Giants to go 7-10 last year. Did they go 7-10?
No.
9-6, 7-1. There's times I said, hey, this team gonna go fine. They don't go. We make mistakes as long as you can explain or what your theories was on why you decided to make that choice, right or wrong, or if you just have straight humility and say, hey, you know what, I just made a terrible choice. Listen, I thought Errol Spence would do better against Crawford. Errol Spence got his butt kicked. Okay? And you got to just own it up. And then Terrence Crawford, who was at Dyckman this week too, so shout out to him. But Terrence Crawford went in there and just put on a masterful performance. And you just got to respect it and give him his flowers and tip your hat. He was phenomenal. Spence needs to get better. You just own it. And sometimes they don't know how to own it. They own it different ways, and that's just the nature of this media game. We ain't gonna make everybody happy. Even you could be the best at something, and then 100 people think they're good at it.
Especially when you're doing it for free.
100%. What else do you want, right?
Yeah. What else do you want? What else do you want? I've been doing it for free for 4 years. You want me? Would you rather I'm not doing nothing, not fill out applications, not have any hobby at all? Would you rather that?
I mean, a lot of people don't know the sacrifices and things we do in order to make this type of stuff happen. You know, it's a passion.
I'm not coming like anybody, any typical reporter working for News 12 or Fox, but do I care?
You doing it for a different reason. We doing it for a different reason. And the culture, I keep telling you too, believe it or not, we are impacting people's lives, believe it or not.
Yeah, exactly. I impact this young girl from Hampton University, who's going to Hampton University that currently lives in Baldwin. But yeah.
No, so you know it is what it is, but that's the game, baby.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of, let me just advertise a little something, Brian, if you're listening.
Yes, sir.
Let me just advertise that Deb Webcast is making a return to the show this coming Tuesday, and she's not going to be alone. As also joining me is this young lady named Tatiana Smallwood. For those of you that don't follow watch ESPN First Take and the Get Up and Around the Horn, she's the associate producer for those shows. Love the work she does, and she also has a lot of TikToks where she determines where she determines like best boyfriend based on favorite NFL teams and NBA teams. So yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about that when Tatiana Smallwood comes on the show. It should be very fun. We're gonna be talking some football. We're gonna talk about Deb Webcast's brand new show. She started called The Blonde Blitz that she's co-hosting. So we're also going to be talking about the upcoming season for the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Will the Giants go back to the playoffs and get right by the Eagles again? Or will they go on with your prediction of 7-10 this time? Because the NFL is going to be a little tougher this year. Aaron Rodgers got picked up by the New York Jets. Eagles are still going to be good. They had a pretty good, decent draft, a very solid draft, matter of fact. We'll get into that. So,
sorry.
So, yeah, that's pretty much advertised. You got anything to advertise coming up, Ryan?
Oh man, let's see. I got some more projects that's coming up. I'm brewing up. I love b-ball. There'll be some more interviews coming up shortly. We got some tentative dates, but nothing finalized. So we're gonna get into that a little bit more. But the biggest thing got going on, just me personally, is of course the last weekend of the month, the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, we'll be in Canada, Halifax, Nova Scotia. My man White hooked up a great event. We'll be down there. I forgot what's the name of the organization we're going down there with. Oh Lord, I forgot the name of the group. They changed it. It used to be a different name, and I forgot. They've changed it to a name now, but it's on the flyer. So we'll be going down there. This is not a crunch time event per se, even though me and Slim are going and with crunch time, but we're going to be in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. It's going to be a great event. These people are taking care of us, and we'll be down there for a few days and announce. And there's other events and plateaus we'll be going to and attend for that. So this is huge for me. It takes a lot of time or networking the right people to be able to travel abroad to do what we do. So this is huge in a different platform, and it's business and it's work. Is like a little mini vacation too, but it's really business and work. And we're just totally honored to be a part of it. And at the end of the month in Canada, we will be there for that. So that's pretty huge. That's the only thing going on for me personally. After that, crunch time winter will start in December, January. So there's plenty of time for us to recuperate and get everything going and growing for the winter time. But I'll be doing a lot of things. I'm coming as well through at crunch time, the kids' parties for that, and a bunch of other leagues that guys got, 1 day, 2 days for that I know I'll be getting calls for. So a lot of that stuff is brewing. But the Canada is the biggest thing at the end of the month. We're still going to promote it and put on for that. And also shout out to Crunch Time. My guys, they were in Toronto, Caravana. They played the 5-star league. They were victorious there. Our guys did phenomenal. And the team and the players got to enjoy Canada and Toronto during Caravana weekend. So that was absolutely phenomenal for them. We will be continuing in an event like that. We'll be out there next year as we continue to keep building that one as well too. So off the air, I'll let you know about that. But I'm gonna be giving a certain person a call that I was very fortunate to sit next to at Dyckman 2 days ago. And I want to do a big network with him. I'm going to speak with him and Rev. I'm going to make sure I line him up with Rev, my commissioner at Crunch Time. And I want them to work on some things with kids clinics and hopefully partnership with Crunch Time. And if I can, if we could work out something the right way, this might be a huge stamp and opportunity for us. And I'll talk to you off air about that one. But so that's it, Canada. And that's it. And that'll be huge. And you opened up a plateau about football. So that's the biggest thing for me. You know, if you want to chat about a little bit about the football too, I got some thoughts on that. But Canada, end of the month, I'll send you the link so you can watch that as well too. We'll be out there and it's going to be awesome for the 4 days out there. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be a party.
Yeah. I got some. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. And that was this episode, Nothing But That Sports Talk. Thank you so much, about Ryan Walker. I mean, you're probably gonna have a little week off of the show that week to focus on that Canada stuff. I'm gonna let you focus on that. Yeah. So yeah. We'll see you next time.